I know you know what a bell sheep is. If you don't, I'm going to tell you real quickly. A bell sheep is a sheep they used in the old countries. They had a bell around that sheep, and wherever that sheep went, all the rest of the sheep followed him because he had a bell. And Governor, you're our bell sheep. We're going to follow you. We're going to follow you and get things done for you. Thank you so much for coming here today. I appreciate it from the bottom of a grateful heart. And I warmly welcome you to the lectern. It's yours. Thank you very much.
Senator Fowler, thank you so very, very much. This is, in case, we'll just get this part out of the way. This is, Culpeper County is the very first stop on Governor O'Malley's Old Ironsides tour. I have a stress fracture in my left tibia. Stay away from that crutch, Rick. Stand back there. I always accuse my staff of kicking my crutches out from under me. But I really had to be here today. And all I need is that bell, 5 smooth stones, and Bernie Fowler to do what we need to do for this bay and for our future. For 20 years we've been coming here. You know, Senator Dyson, I don't need the white sneakers because there's only one pair of white sneakers in the white sneaker index. That index is gauged off of those white sneakers and none other. And I'm glad to be here with you, Senator, and I thank you so much for not only your personal commitment to cleaning up the Patuxent and therefore the bay, but also what your commitment has done to inspire all of us, to believe that each of us as individuals has power, that each of us can make a difference. And I hope that's what you've seen in your interactions with our cabinet, with Secretary Wilson and Secretary Griffin and Deputy Secretary Hance. We are committed to doing everything we can as individuals with the power that you entrust us with for a short period of time to do right by the future, realizing that we don't so much inherit this earth as we keep it in trust for future generations. And the stakes are really, really high. The stakes are very, very high indeed. And I think while Senator Fowler has understood that for some time, I think the rest of the country, and indeed the entire planet, is understanding that the stakes are very high. One hopeful fact about the circumstance that we find ourselves in with the pollution of our waterways, with unplanned sprawl, and with the sort of climate change that's happening, here's the hopeful fact. Man caused this, and man can fix this. Of course, by that, ladies, I mean men and women caused this. And men and women and individuals can fix this. Senator Dyson mentioned some of the strides that we've made in this legislative session. But you know, we really need a federal government that's also our partner. And thank goodness we have Steny Hoyer leading the charge with the new Congress to help us get some dollars to clean up this bay. Steny, thank you very, very much. You know, when Senator Fowler and Congressman Dyson and came down for a meeting about the Patuxent and making sure that we understand the urgency of the challenge, I was reminded of some of the big differences between the job of governor and the job of a big city mayor. I should keep a journal with these things in them. You know, when you're mayor, everybody understands that you don't have any money, but they appreciate the fact that you care enough to try. When you're governor, everybody assumes you have a ton of money, and if the priorities aren't getting the money, it's because you don't care or you don't try. Well, we care and we try. And Senator Fowler understands the limits of budgets and the challenges that poses for all of us as well. But he challenges all of us to do better and to do our very best. And this year, we passed one of the strongest runoff bills in the nation. We have not only the Clean Cars that was mentioned, but also the Oyster Restoration Act. We also put, Buddy Hance knows this, we put historically high levels, the highest amount ever that we've put into cover crops, record funding this year. We have reinstituted our Office of Smart Growth, and we're staffing it. We've created a Green Buildings Council. Most people don't understand that our buildings that we live in and that we work in actually create far more pollution than cars do. So we implemented the Green Buildings Council. We have stepped up in difficult decisions, one involving the protection of the critical areas around one of the most beautiful parts of this planet, tied for first place with the Patuxent, and that is the Blackwater Wildlife Refuge. We stood up to defend her. You know, recently they wanted to cram 1,350 units of dense housing into the critical areas on Kent Island. We stood up and we said that doesn't make sense, and we said no to that on Kent Island. And most importantly, and probably the lasting legacy in terms of administrative side of the House, is we're implementing base stat. What is base stat? Base stat is where we measure what we're doing, where we're doing it, in order to direct the dollars to where it can have the greatest impact over the shortest period of time. Well, that all sounds great, Governor. What the hell does that mean? That means that if we have a limited amount of dollars for things like buffer zones and cover crops and open space, then we want to make sure that we allocate those dollars to where they can do the greatest good to protect the Patuxent as quickly as we can. Now, we don't stop there in the critical areas. We continue to go. Every part of Maryland drains into some body of water. But we this year, we promised you that every dollar of open space would go to open space, and in our budget, that's what we delivered. Every single dollar of open space is going to open space. Now, we still have a long, long way to go, but we are going to go there. We're going to put one foot in front of the other. We are going to do the things that work, and most importantly, and this is where I think, Senator, your index and your persistence and your no surrender attitude really has the greatest impact of all, and that is restoring common sense. Restoring common sense to the things that we do, the actions we take as individuals, the actions we take as a community. You don't need a degree in science to know that the bay is hurting. You can wade in and look at your sneakers. Those of us that can remember what she was like in the 60s and the 50s, common sense should tell us that to continue to do what we've been doing and hope for a different result is the definition of insanity. We're going to start doing things differently. Indeed, we already have. At the end of the day, whether or not we clean up the bay is not so much about technology. It's not so much about science. Both of those things matter. It's really about something much deeper and much more long-lasting. And that is the responsibility that we have always felt as Marylanders. To lead, especially in times of great national adversity. To be that one star in the center, 12 stars around it that the Maryland 400 fought under, and that we fight under today as we wade into this river and recommit ourselves to pass on the bay to our children in a better condition than we found it ourselves. God bless you all real good.